Breaking news tonight, a very concerning report, and it's taken me quite a while to put this together. And when I put it together, it scared me. It truly did, and I'm now going to deliver it to you in the best way possible. And the information that you are hearing today is not exactly what it appears to be. And there's more to this story than first meets the eye. There's a quiet warning circulating around at the moment inside US security circles about a scenario almost unbelievable. However, the information being shared about these Iranian drones possibly targeting California are not the way they should be presented to the public, because we're focusing on drones taking off from unidentified ships west of California and focusing on ballistic missiles, bombs and stuff like that. However, they are missing something far more sinister. And that's what I've discovered, and that's what I'm going to share with you now. So before I begin, some important context to get it in perspective. Officials say no imminent threat, no confirmed plot, or no active attack, but the alert exists tonight. And that alone raises questions because the war with Iran is escalating. This weekend could change everything. So, the US intelligence recently circulated an FBI alert to California law enforcement warning about a potential scenario of Iranian drones launched from a vessel offshore somewhere in the Pacific, possibly targeting locations inside California. And again, very important, this intelligence is unverified. No locations, no timelines, no operation, but intelligence often warns before events fully emerge. So why does this matter tonight? Because this warning appears during a rapidly expanding Middle East war after strikes on Iranian military leadership. The region has entered a retaliation phase. Missiles launched, drones deployed, shipping threatened, and one place now dominates global strategy: the Straits of Hormuz. A narrow channel but critically to the world, nearly 20% of global oil flows through that corridor every day. If disrupted, energy markets react instantly, and recently several vehicles were attacked near the strait. Projectiles reported, drone threats also reported, which raises a critical question: how will America respond? Because protecting global shipping is essential for trade and energy. The US Navy is already operating heavily inside the region, destroying vessels suspected of laying naval mines. But if attacks continue, pressure grows for stronger action. That could mean naval corridors, tanker escorts, or securing strategic positions around Hormuz, possibly involving US troops. We're talking about putting boots on the ground now. I'm going to break into this report because I'm getting information sent into me all the time. I want to share with you this, but we're going to come on to something far more sinister in a moment that no one is talking about, and I checked this before I came online by multiple sources. Let's hear from this report, and then I'll break down some more news that is more disturbing and more sinister than anything else that we've spoken about thus far. Let me share this with you.
Right now, I do want to get right back into the headlines at this hour as we're getting reaction from California Governor Gavin Newsom after media reports regarding an FBI alert warning Iran could launch drones that could impact the West Coast. Now, there is a lot to this, Mario Ramirez over at our Fox 11 LA team is following all of the latest developments and joins us live with more. Good morning, Mario.
Good morning to you, Josh. We can tell you state leaders are keeping a close eye on the developing situation, and this warning from the FBI reportedly alerting law enforcement agencies across the state about a potential Iranian drone attack off the West Coast, and that is sparking security concerns. Now, we're here in Hollywood, just outside the Dolby Theater. You can see the barricades here behind me. The setup for the Oscars this weekend is underway, and now organizers and authorities are taking extra precautions following that FBI warning, and we're seeing it firsthand. So we know drone technology is becoming more common and more concerning in modern warfare. And let's talk about it. That recent federal bulletin reportedly sent to California law enforcement warning that Iran-affiliated actors may have discussed the possibility of a surprise drone attack against targets in California. The information was described as unverified and unvetted, but it was reportedly shared with local agencies so they could remain alert. Now, that bulletin suggested the attack could potentially involve unmanned aerial vehicles launched from a vessel off the U.S. West Coast if the United States carried out strikes against Iran. Intelligence officials say there are no details about when, where, or how an attack could happen. Meanwhile, Governor Gavin Newsom says his office is in constant contact with security and intelligence officials as they're monitoring these reports, and he's also urging calm as authorities continue to review the information.
Now, I'm going to break into it and come back to Gavin Newsom in a second. But what is not being reported and what is not being spoken about, which I have information on, is this. The US is focusing tonight on drone attacks that are effectively just small missiles, essentially creating chaos, creating the ability to just disrupt and scare and intimidate the American population. However, the bigger story is something far more sinister and far more concerning. Recently, more and more people have been, information has been revealed that people are searching on AI software to calculate how to make a chemical weapon. This is something far more dangerous, something far more sinister, because you can't shoot it down. Because if you shoot it down over land and over the area that is potentially under attack, by blowing it up and shooting it out the sky, you can release a virus into the air, and that could rain down on its target. This is something that really concerns me, because for many, many years now, there have been and there are all over the country, all over the world, in fact, what's known as sleeper cells. And we have some credible evidence to support this. This is active members of certain organizations that are waiting for a signal, waiting to be told, go. And they can live amongst us. They can be part of us here in the United States, and they can go on their fishing boats, and they can send in a load of drones. And of course, America will start firing them down, and then we've got a chemical war breaking out. This is a real deal. I'm going to let you hear now from Gavin Newsom, and I'm going to come back to this in a moment. But this is a real concern. When I put this story together, it was quite a concern to even think about talking about it live on the show.
Drone issues have been always top of mind, and we've assembled some work groups specifically around those concerns. What's the end game here? We've seen gas prices spike because of his decision, cause and effect by 69 cents here in the state of California, 60 cents plus overall on average across the United States of America. We've seen markets roiling. We've seen no real end game in sight.
And meanwhile, here locally, we heard from both the LAPD and LA County Sheriff's Department releasing statements basically saying they are on heightened alert and continue to monitor the situation. Now, if we come back out here to our live shot along Hollywood Boulevard, again, the Oscars just days away, workers building out the red carpet, setting up the arrival area, and officials say those barricades there, checkpoints, and screening areas will surround the venue. Hundreds of officers from local and federal agencies are also expected to be deployed here throughout the area, including specialized units monitoring for possible drone activity during Oscars weekend. So while officials say there's no credible threat, they are on heightened alert, and they're taking a proactive approach, especially with these high-profile and large-scale events like the 98th Academy Awards this weekend here in Hollywood. Live, I'm Mario Ramirez. Josh, we'll send it back to you.
Now, the main concern that we've got, which is most alarming, is the fact that these weapons can be produced very, very quickly and very, very cheaply and could already be here in the United States. You haven't got to smuggle them in. They've been here forever. Sleeper cells, we have been told, we have heard, are now being activated and woken up. We've seen the extra threats to the president. This is just potentially the beginning. So only in the last few minutes, I am getting some credible information that US troops may need to land in Iran to monitor the shorelines of Hormuz, the Straits of Hormuz, to protect from attack the ships. We've already seen multiple ships now attacked, despite Trump saying we've blown them all up. The trouble is you can't take out individual rocket launchers. You can't take out individual fighters with their own launchers, their own drones. It's just impossible. There are hundreds of millions of people. How are you going to do that? We spoke about it at the beginning of the conflict when I said to you, I heard a rumor that nuclear was on the table like it was in the Second World War. That is always now on the table, a discussion. And I remember sharing it with Sensei, and you could see his reaction to that. It was quite So are we going to get boots on the ground? Well, right now, there's no mention of it. There's just whisperings. These scenarios have existed for decades, but if Hormuz closes, the global economy feels it immediately. Oil prices would surge. This is why we're sharing the oil price on the screen. It's going back up again. We're seeing it rise again today since this news came out. And we're also looking at drone companies as well, seeing how they're reacting. Is their share price going up? What is happening with drone companies or companies that can catch drones? Because you really want to catch these drones, not shoot them down, for the reasons I've just shared with you. So oil prices would surge, shipping costs would explode, inflation pressures. Now, we're talking about that because on Wednesday, we have Jerome Powell back in the spotlight with the FOMC report. And in fact, tomorrow morning, we have an inflation report. So we're going to start getting more of this information fed through over time. So inflation pressures could return, and all that leads to another story developing next week, the Federal Reserve and the FOMC decision, a critical moment for markets because the Fed already faces sticky inflation, slowing growth, and fragile markets. Now imagine this scenario. Think of this for the moment. If war escalates this weekend, we are Thursday. It is Thursday, March the 12th. Tomorrow is Friday the 13th. Tomorrow is Friday the 13th. And then we have the weekend. And then we have the FOMC report. Imagine this scenario. War escalates this weekend. Hormuz disrupted. Oil spikes higher. Suddenly inflation returns aggressively. Markets panic, can't react over the weekend. Volatility surges and geopolitics collides directly with monetary policy, which comes on Wednesday, which is why analysts tonight, right now, I'm doing it myself, are watching the next 72 hours very carefully. I will be sharing all of my trades on Discord, all of my trades on YouTube Electrum over the weekend, watching everything for you and seeing any whispers of what might come next week. So the next 72 hours is critical, in my opinion. Wars move in phases. And we may be entering now the next phase, the retaliation cycle. Up to this point, it's been all about Trump, America blasting, using his words, blasting and bombing and all the rest of it to Iran. Iran have fought back, but they haven't yet attacked mainland USA. And we know that sleeper cells are waking up. This is potentially where this FBI report came from. And now it's starting to alert people to the potential of this. A retaliation cycle, more attacks, more disruption, more military movement. And if tensions ease, markets stabilize. But if violence expands next week could become extremely volatile. We've spoke about it on the show many times that we could see the market drop 40%. So despite my bullish stance on my stocks, will I move tomorrow? Will I pivot? Will I take profits? Will I protect my money? These are things we'll be discussing tomorrow. These on the inflation report, and we'll be making decisions live in our Discord and Electrum about the trades that we make. We could have an extremely volatile week next week. The FOMC meeting, all of that is coming up. What are we going to get? What is Jerome Powell going to do? So tonight, remember this, and this is important. There is no imminent attack on California. But the fact this scenario is being discussed and in many ways overlooked because it's all about bombs and stuff like that. No one is focusing on a chemical attack, and no one has mentioned yet about sleeper cells. I am doing this. This is a special report, which I am probably the first to mention this. This scenario is being discussed. Inside intelligence shows something very important is going on. This conflict is growing. Energy markets, shipping lanes, global finances, all connected. And the next few days may determine what happens next. I would like to leave you with this thought and send everybody now over to the extra channel where we can continue the conversation. But I want to leave you with this. This scenario is terrifying. Over the next 72 hours, I think we're going to get some answers. I will keep you updated in every way I can possible. I'm always live for you. I share everything on Discord and Electrum. You'll be made aware of it. If you want all my links, there's Discord. You can join me and get all my trades, my one-on-one support over the weekend. There's Discord and there is Electrum if you'd like to be part of all of that. I've dropped it in the links and it will be below in the description of this video as well. But the likelihood of an all-out attack on the United States has to be said. It is extremely unlikely. The United States is extremely well positioned geographically, surrounded by ocean to protect it. However, that doesn't protect you from sleeper cells that have been here for decades, waiting for this opportunity. I do want to leave you with a final thought, and I want to wish everyone the very, very best. And I want you to think of optimistically, positively about the future. And I look forward to joining you over the weekend and tomorrow live in all the places that I am to offer my thoughts and my support and friendship and everything else. But I am deeply concerned about this. When I put this information together and read certain things that I can't show on screen, it scared me, to be honest, and it made me a little bit concerned. However, I'd like to ask you, we've got a special message here. I was just about to end there.
At Vocal Fossa tipped €2 through Super Chat. Trump speaks in about 10 minutes.
Thank you very much indeed. I might be back for that in 10 minutes. I'll go and see what it's all about. But I'm going to end now, send you off to the extra channel. And if there's anything relevant, I'll be back in 10 minutes for the Trump speech. But I'd like to leave you with this thought. Be safe wherever you are. And don't have nightmares. And sleep well. Until next time, take care of yourselves and each other.